coming out isn't a one-time event. You do it every day for the rest of your life. You decide in every moment for the rest of your life. And the more you do it, the more confidence you build, the more comfortable you are, the more willing to take a risk you are. And if you need somebody to like just say the words out loud to, come down to the farmer's market, introduce yourself, say hello. You know, we're happy to like be the sounding board for you to practice, you know, like we just want people in our community to feel empowered and, you know, happy with themselves. And if you can make sure that you're safe and you're ready, like all it takes is some practice, and you can do it in stages. It doesn't have to be a all or nothing. Not, you know, you don't have to shout it from the mountaintop.
Hello, beautiful people. Yes, I am talking to you. Are you ready to feel confident AF, free from the expectations and opinions of others, and create ultimate self-trust in who you are, what you say, and how you show up in every part of your life? If you answered a hell yes, I am, I guarantee this episode will empower you to be 100% yourself, 100% of the time, no shame or guilt needed. It's time for you to strut your stuff, express yourself with freedom, and fully embrace every freaking fabulous part of you. Let's dive in. Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to another episode of Road to Radical Visibility. My name is Rachel Freemon Sowers, also known as the Break Free Bitch, because I am passionate about helping people just like you break free from the toxic social constructs, expectations, beliefs, and opinions that have been holding you back from experiencing your life exactly the way that you want to. And if you've hung out here for very long, you'll know that my personal and professional motto is being 100% yourself, 100% of the time, no shame or guilt needed. And as you can tell, I have got more guests on the show. And today's episode, I'm just so excited because I found them in a farmer's market and I was like, I need this thing that they sell. And I talked to them. Oh my gosh, it's going to be good. Okay, back on track. I'm going to introduce them to you right now. My guests today are Colton and Zach, a queer couple from Vancouver, Washington, and founders of Rainbro Crafts. They specialize in handcrafted vegan soaps, candles, bath bombs, and other self-care products. Okay, listen up. They're committed to using sustainable and ethically sourced ingredients and minimal recyclable packaging for all their products. Their mission is to make the world a little bit gayer, greener, and cleaner. Welcome, Colton and Zach. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. We're really excited. We're both big podcast people, so this is our first podcast that we've been guests on.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Broke the podcast cherry.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Well, you know, that makes me proud. Okay, anyway, let's dive in. As you both know, the first question I ask every guest on my show is, what does radical visibility mean to you?
So for me, I'm from the area. I'm from Battleground, Washington, which, if you're not from the area, is about 30 minutes north on I-5 from Portland, Oregon, because we're just over the river. But Battleground's a very small farming community with, at least when I was growing up 20 plus years ago, not a lot of queer visibility. I couldn't tell you anyone for the first 20 years of my life that I knew that was on the in the LGBTQ plus family. So showing that we're just like everyone else, but a little more fun and colorful, is kind of what I like to do. Painting our nails, having a rainbow flag, lots of color, and just showing people that it's all right to be not the straight, boring, normal person. So
yeah. So just having that freedom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, it's about authenticity. It's about being who you are, regardless of what's around you, and having a little bit of bravery in that. You know, I'm also from a small town in Utah, which is I used to say it was 30 years behind. I feel like it's more like 50 years behind everywhere else in the country now. But yeah, small town. I don't really remember having any queer role models. It was quite scandalous to find out that there was a queer person in the community at the time. And, there was a lot of cultural elements of me getting out of Utah and moving on to the Pacific Northwest, the promised land for the queers and the vegans. And, it's been a really great experience. We've had a really awesome time, especially as business owners, being able to like put our queerness forward. It's a part of our brand. It's right on our mission statement,
Absolutely.
And we've had great reception from the people in this community. Vancouver is really a special place for that reason.
Yeah, well, you both know I moved up here probably about 2.5 months ago, and I absolutely agree with the two of you that representation matters. Seeing yourself in your community absolutely matters, because coming here from Redding, where yes, there was an LGBTQ plus population there, and yet it's still very oppressed in my opinion, and Redding is 20, 30 years behind. Also, my opinion might get some flack for that, but that's how I feel it is. And I went to the farmer's market and I was like, I really need some soap. And my wife, Veronica, is like, you have to go check out the gay guys over there with the soap.
What gave it away, I wonder?
and I was like, yes, let's go. And so that's like where we first met. And I love seeing other queer businesses in a community that are just out there being themselves and including that, radical visibility piece. I mean, I walk over, I saw the painted fingernails, all of those things. And honestly, all of that makes me feel at home. All of that makes me feel like, oh, they get me. Like they can be themselves. They want to show up as themselves. Let's go. Right. And kind of that family. I like the way that you said, the LGBTQ plus family and how we kind of incorporate that as entrepreneurs. So give us a really quick history of how you guys started making, self-care products.
So the start of our business was during COVID. Kind of like a lot of small businesses started over COVID because you had so much free time on your hands. We had been watching YouTube videos of a soap maker. Her name's Katie Carson, the Duchess of Suds. She's from Texas. She's kind of like top tier soap maker. And she reviewed a company actually up in Bellingham area called Brambleberry. We ordered a soap making kit just for like a over the winter holiday kind of activity. It made 10 bars. We donated them to friends and family, gave them as gifts, and they requested more. And it kind of just snowballed from there. We sold out at our first farmer's market. And I mean, we only brought like 40 bars of soap, which now is like one batch of soap that we make. So it's a little comical, but it was like natural progression. And then I've been a candle fan for forever. I mean, my mom would back that up.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a natural like stepping off point into the more like self-care, home goods type products. And we just added things along the way that we wanted or our audience was wanting and asking for.
It is funny. I do remember when we first got that kit, it came with a slab that made 10 bars of soap. And I remember thinking at a certain point, like, we probably should get another one of these like molds so we can do double batches, and 20 bars of soap. That's crazy. Now we're doing a batch a week. That's 180 bars a week. And that's like our consistent, keeping up with the flow of the farmer's market. And like, we've really experienced some astounding growth and support from our community. And like, we have return customers. Just yesterday, we had our new holiday soaps for the first time at the farmer's market. And we have these two guys. They're as straight as could be, but they love our stuff. And they come at the start of the first weekend of every month, and they buy one of everything that's new. They just come and stock up. And they're like, yeah, we don't go through it as all that fast, but we like to have it to add to our collection. And, even that, like we that's one of the things that makes Vancouver special. It's not just queer people supporting queer people, but like, we have a really accepting straight community too. And really that's the end goal, is like for us to all be able to enmesh together and like support each other. It doesn't have to be us versus them or anything like that. It can be this collaborative community thing where those barriers and differences start to break down and we just kind of like accept and, you know, care for each other in that way. And that we've been really lucky to have that.
Yeah, that's incredible. I've spoken, I should say, to so many different entrepreneurs out there, straight, LGBTQ plus, all of them, right? And there's a journey that entrepreneurs take. You know, they have an idea, they're like, oh, we like this, and you know, maybe it could be something more. What, if any, is one of the things that you've had to really overcome as entrepreneurs and the growth that you've experienced?
I would say our biggest struggle with the company in general has been our space. Like we came into this situation where we basically created a hobby that turned into a business, and like you're in our soap room. This is the second bedroom in our 2-bedroom 900 square foot apartment. And like, I mean, you can see there's soaps on the racks curing all the way around the room, like, and that's what this room is. But like that's been the biggest struggle, I think, is like having our home turn from our home to the small business that we happen to live in. Like, you know, and now housing prices and things are where they are. And I mean, you just experienced that, I'm sure. You're renting, you said, like even rentals are expensive and tricky to find, and finding the right spot for that kind of endeavor. That's definitely been the hardest part. We've been really like lucky in a lot of the other elements of business to have like our community and our customer base support us. And so it's really just been that like space issue. We just need a bigger place and we're on the hunt. So
yeah, well, definitely the rental market here is in high demand.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, moving from Reading, obviously it's much cheaper living in Reading. And I think our mortgage is $1,000 less than our rent here. So although that's the case, I think when you step into, in your personal life or a professional or a business, when you step in to this new life with the faith that you're going to be able to do it, right? Because it does take faith. I mean, the two of you, I think it'd be interesting to hear a little bit about the two of you coming from small towns. I mean, in Utah and then here in Battleground, Washington. And what was maybe one of the struggles that you had to overcome to then live your life the way that you wanted to?
I think the main struggle for me at least, was putting yourself out there and not knowing the reaction. Battleground today, 2023, is much more friendly than it was when I was growing up in the early 2000s, or late 90s, early 2000s, but still putting yourself out there as your true self is kind of scary, just for anyone, business or personal, and not knowing, am I going to be met with violence or open arms is scary, especially in the like current political climate that I mean, it's been this way for a while, unfortunately. So that's probably the biggest kind of like struggle for me has been.
Yeah, for me, I would say like I've had, you know, the culture of Utah is very entrepreneurial in general, and there's this like built-in element of salesmanship that comes with the Mormon church being so big and present. You know, like most people are going to go on a mission, which is basically just 2 years of door-to-door salesmanship. You know, a lot of people are selling Etsy or selling things on Etsy or selling, you know, MLM things. You know, there's a whole culture of it there. And so like for me coming in and like saying, here, buy my products, there was a little bit of like an imposter syndrome element of like, am I over here like just peddling my wares to my family and friends and just annoying them? And, you know, like I've gotten over that because we've had such a good reception, and I'm much more confident in our products now. Like I'm really, really proud of what we've done. But early on, there was definitely a little bit of, you know, like, oh, I don't want to be the crazy, you know, cousin that calls and says, hey, I've got something for sale for you. And, you know, oh, they'll buy it because they're family and friend, and, you know, that's what you do. But I don't think we're there anymore. I think we've definitely like developed a loyal following that really is truly excited about our product. So
I think it's interesting when you both are talking about how showing up in a different way, whether it's this is who I am or this is what I want to sell. It's interesting. I've been in the church, well, previously my whole entire life, went door to door. I went on a mission trip to Europe, door to door in Belgium, all of those kinds of things. And it's interesting because I've always said I could sell anything, and maybe that's
I mean, it's like I still have LDS missionaries come to the house every once in a while. And, we have a big rug on our front door that says the gayest place in town. And I always recognize, like, they're just kids, like, doing the thing that they feel like they're supposed to do and that their family said. And so I'm like, oh, if you need to use the bathroom, you need some water, you want a seltzer for the road, like, happy to do that. But you don't want Jesus to be a homewrecker. So we're probably not good candidates for conversion at this point.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. My dad was a youth pastor for a long time. And whenever now as an adult, when people would come, to the door, would just politely say, like, I have my own spirituality now. I hope that you can do whatever you need to do for you. And so thank you very much. But I hope that you take care. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be as maybe, I don't know if this is a word I want to use, but like as abrupt or aggressive as, like, I'm not talking to you or whatever. And like, no, and just having that solid thing to say, even in entrepreneurship, like, this is my product and this is who I am and this is how I do it. Because a lot of people struggle. And I don't know how old the two of you are, but I'm 51 now. And I remember sitting in the back of my dad's truck when we could ride in the back of the truck in Berkeley, and me and my brother were in the back and the camper was on there. And these two guys walked down the street and like, oh my God, there's those gay guys and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And that was like my first exposure, and how I was taught throughout the whole entire time that, and even up until, well, honestly, still get told this at times, that I'm going to hell and all of those things, and how part of becoming radically visible is you having this internal safety about who you are, and how you show up in the world. What has been the most rewarding thing, and not just in business? So in business, you guys are growing and people are loving it and you're really flourishing in that area, but also maybe in life where you have just been so grateful that you trusted yourself.
I would say that my family has been accepting. I was going to say surprisingly, but none of my family is aggressive or anything like that, but trusting that it would have been okay regardless, because I would have either like picked myself up and like gone on with my life, but I didn't really have to do that, which was very lucky and not terribly common. So I would say that would probably be the biggest like satisfaction in believing in myself, was like knowing the time to come out and then following through with it, which is the hardest part, because you don't know what people are going to do or say to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were both really lucky in that realm of things coming out. Like, our families were very supportive, if not a little surprised, which in retrospect I'm like, how? But you know how dads can be, like, a little oblivious to things. So mom was a little bit more like, she'd already kind of guessed. So but yeah, I mean, we were both really lucky in that regard. For me, one of the things that I've done in my life that took a huge amount of self-trust and self-doubt, like, in the process, when I picked up and moved here from Utah, that was like a big move. I was 23 years old and I'd never lived outside of Utah. The furthest I'd been from home was like 70 miles when I moved to Salt Lake, and that was still like an hour drive, like nothing major, and I decided I was like, I need to move on from this place that's kind of, I either need to make roots here and be happy with this place or move on. And I decided it's time to take a chance and move on. And I came up here. I've had some family that let me stay with them until I established myself. And there were times in that process where I was like, maybe this isn't the right call. Maybe I should go back and, try to make it work there. But I stuck it through, and I'm really happy. I honestly can't imagine living anywhere else other than Vancouver. It's just like the perfect place for me.
Yeah, I would agree. Even, living in Reading, my wife and I lived there pretty much our whole entire lives on and off. And I did a live video on Facebook the other day about, people saying, why can't you just do this? Why can't you just change your mindset? Why can't you just, think of it in a different way? Why can't you just ignore whatever was happening? And, it makes a huge difference for those of you that are listening. If you've had this inkling within you, like all three of us have had that, yes, it's time to move on. It's time to create a different kind of life. I would love for you to trust that and lean into that. And it's scary and it's all the things. And yet, this is a part of self-trust, right? It's you knowing what you need, and only you can know that. And if other people tell you what you, in essence, need, it's coming from their perspective. And so it's kind of like being able to look internally with yourself and not listening, honestly, to the patterns or the past expectations, the social, cultural norms, whatever those are. I don't even really know what those are anymore, that we've been taught our whole entire lives. And just to allow ourselves to be free. So if there are people that will be listening to the show, I will just say that are on that verge of trusting themselves. And maybe they're like, I don't know if I should come out. Or maybe they're like a transgender individual who's like, I just want to so badly be myself. Maybe they're non-binary and they're just like, I don't want to fit in any kind of box. Can you just accept me as myself? From each of you, what would you empower them with?
I would say, as far as the coming out question, like, coming out isn't a one-time event. You do it every day for the rest of your life. You decide in every moment for the rest of your life. And the more you do it, the more confidence you build, the more comfortable you are, the more willing to take a risk you are. And if you need somebody to just say the words out loud to, come down to the farmer's market, introduce yourself, say hello. We're happy to be the sounding board for you to practice. We just want people in our community to feel empowered and, happy with themselves. And if you can make sure that you're safe and you're ready, all it takes is some practice, and you can do it in stages. It doesn't have to be a all or nothing.
Right.
You don't have to shout it from the mountaintops. You can whisper it to each person individually as many times as you need to. And that's a perfectly valid way of doing it, And like I said, as you do it more, it gets easier. And eventually, especially when you can find yourself in a community like ours, you don't even worry about it anymore, And at a certain point, it's like, how am I even going to hide it at this point? You lean into your queerness, and then it's just like it's right there. It's literally on our shirt, It's, so
yeah. I would say go as slow or as quickly as you need to, and only you are going to know how quickly or slowly that is. You don't have to tell everyone all at once. You can start off by telling your best friend or yourself in the mirror, honestly, because sometimes that's the biggest step, is telling yourself out loud, this is what's going on. And also, don't feel pressure to label yourself anything, because it doesn't really matter. It matters that you're happy with yourself, and that's it, really.
I love that, because, radical visibility means something different to everyone, but the most common thread is being radically visible to yourself first. It's saying, I had a client say to me this last week, she's like, I finally looked in the mirror crying in awe and said, do you know how much I love you? To herself. And it's it's those moments that then reduce the nervous system response that allow us to do what we want to do. All right. So, we've talked about this journey. It's a beautiful journey that is full of doing what you want to do, being who you are. And what I would love for you to do is just talk a little bit about, well, okay, I brought it in from my bathroom. So I bought this lumberjack soap.
Love the lumberjack.
This is why I'm wearing this flannel. Like, I'm feeling a little lesbian lumberjack here today. I love this stuff. And I want to ask you some questions about it, to be completely honest.
Yeah, sure.
Because I also love it. Now, just so all the audience knows, there's no affiliate, there's no income coming in. When I love a product, this is what I love, and I talk about a product. So there is some little bitty... I don't know, like...
So it's a gently exfoliating. It's
Yes.
Crushed up walnut shells. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's just like gently exfoliating, nice and gentle. Yeah, we do include that in a few of our products. We also have one that's slightly more coarse that's coming out in December. That's a ginger patchouli scrub.
You might actually like it.
Yeah.
Oh my...
It's this one.
It's got coffee grounds in it, so it's slightly more coarse. My dad loves that one. A lot of guys that come out from like working in the garage tend to like that one because it helps cut through the grease and everything. Yeah, so that's what that little texture you're feeling is.
So tell us a little bit more about your products. Like, obviously soap, we mentioned bath bombs, candles. What other kinds of things do you guys have?
We are our mission, gayer, greener, and cleaner. The greener and cleaner portion of our mission are they're equally as important in different ways. Greener and cleaner kind of go hand in hand. Minimal packaging, which I know you mentioned at the beginning. So our soap, the soap you held up is the finished product. It just has a little sticker on it to tell you the ingredients and the name and that kind of stuff. But we have other low waste products. So we have shampoo and conditioner bars that save on plastic and water and that kind of stuff. I don't know if we have any nearby.
Here's one. They come just wrapped up in a piece of paper, nice and eco-friendly. This little bar will last you about 60 washes. So about the size of about the length of a bottle of shampoo, but you're not worried about the plastic waste at the end. You didn't have to ship all the water weight. So a lot more eco-friendly. It's made with great, clean, gentle ingredients.
We kind of are selfish in the products we make because
I
we
love
make
it.
products we like, which makes sense, but sometimes that's not people's business. They do whatever can make them money, but we normally I also have a beard, have beard oil and beard butter, which is like kind of like a beard pomade type situation, lip balm as well, kind of like the full range of bath and body products.
Well, I'm excited because now I'm going to have to come back, as always, to the farmer's market and pick up the one you just showed.
We actually have that lumberjack scent in a shampoo and conditioner bar too, so it's one of our best-selling scents. So we'll get you taken care of.
Awesome. I want to go back just really quick before we end, because you said, we do what we like. We're not just in it to make the money. And you, I'm sure, have noticed in the online marketing or online business world that people are about put this out there and make all the money from it. And there's nothing behind it. And I'm so glad you guys agreed to come on the show, simply because it is my passion to promote and share businesses that have something behind it, that aren't just about, here, take this thing, do this thing, and adios, see you later. I mean, it's it becomes personal, and it becomes a lot about heart and a lot about soul. So I'm just so grateful for you being here. Really quick, if there's other people out there that are like, I don't know if I can make money from the thing that I actually want to be doing, really quick, what would you tell them?
We also didn't know if we could make money. We didn't start this thinking like, let's have Zach quit his job in February and hopefully have Colton quit when he gets his 401k match. Like that's not the world that we started this in. but we took it out there. We're vulnerable with the community. We took our product out and we tested it. We gave people the chance to deny us or to, tell us what they thought. And I think that part is the hardest part. Like, you might take it out there and it might not be that popular, but that's information you can take back and refine and come back again with something new that, is true to your values, as well as something that people are going to want to take into their own homes. And whether that's, it doesn't have to be body care products. It could be awesome vegan cookies, or it could be cutting boards, or it could be, there's a whole world of products out there and skills. So it's every day is kind of an experiment, I would say. Like, we're just learning every day, and, we take what we can and we incorporate it as we can.
And mine's kind of a cheat answer. It's 2 parts. I am in HR. That's my day job. So I always have a "and" to my answers. But you don't have to, you're not probably going to be successful overnight. That doesn't happen like 99% of the time. So don't expect like rocket ship to the moon level of sales. Natural growth is the most important because it's more sustainable. You can scale regardless of what you're offering. If it's soap, if it's baked goods, whatever, you can plan and increase production or whatever. But also be always learning, always fine-tuning your product, whatever that is. We removed palm oil from our oil base for our soaps after doing our first market because of feedback we received. And so those little changes to make your product even more popular and even more widely accepted and usable is another really important part that we always are doing, and that we encourage all of our entrepreneur friends to do.
Also, don't be afraid to ask other people questions. We've learned so much from other vendors at these markets. We've made some really great friends. We've made great connections, and being able to run things by people that are in that world already and get some feedback from them with their experience. Because you don't have to, you can take from other people's experience and incorporate it without having to go through the hardship of yourself. If you can get a shortcut, by all means, get a shortcut, let somebody else go through that part so that you don't have to. And, we've been really happy with that element of the community of the farmers market. Those connections have been really helpful and really satisfying too.
I think that's what's good about also having a physical product. I mean, you have some of that, my products aren't really physical, right? They're service based. They're kind of, they're internally heart based. And so it's that's one thing that's really nice when you do have a physical product. All right, my friends. Well, one more thing is, where can people find you?
You can find us on Instagram at Rainbro Crafts, TikTok at Rainbro Crafts 360, and then we have a YouTube channel at Rainbro Crafts where you can see how a lot of our products are made. We're adding new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. That schedule might tweak a little bit during the holidays, but that's the hope, at least. Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then of course our website, www.rainbrocrafts.com, where you can find our calendar of events, and you can come find us in person, or you can order our products directly from the store there. We do encourage you, if you're in the area, come and see us in person, because it's hard to decide on a scented product based on an online description. We try our best to get that information across, but you really need to smell the products to make your choices. And we have a lot of choices right now, and they're great ones. So.
Yeah. All right, my friends. Well, thanks again so much for being on the show. I'll wrap the show up by saying, and ending it like I end every single video, please make sure to stay true to yourself, be kind to others, and always, always, always honor the wise one that is within you. We will see you all on the next road to radical visibility. Until then, bye. Hold up, don't go yet. If this episode inspired you to be 100% yourself, 100% of the time, no shame or guilt needed, even just that little bit more, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. I'm here, and I know you are too, to make a positive impact in the world. So don't forget to share the love. And if you were left wanting more of this type of kick-ass content, then don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. Until next time, make sure to stay true and be you. Until then, bye.